Hey there friends, Carla here from Documenting the Journey. I am doing a video today. And I am not really going to compare these two planners because they are completely different planners, but I am considering switching my archival planner. My original plan was to use the 2022 Hobonichi Weeks for my archived planner. I think I'm going to be switching it to the Jibun Techo Biz, which is the B6 Slim, which is the mini size, and I'll explain why. So in 2021, I used this planner and I completely fell in love with it. It was a complete surprise for me. I did not really expect to like it. I actually got this planner in 2021 to use as a health and fitness planner, and I ended up using it as like my literal like everyday carry life planner. And then I decided to start documenting more in it so I could archive it on my shelf and refer back to it for any major events and stuff. I decided I was going to do the same thing for 2022. And I think I'm going to change my mind. So I found this planner probably 8 or 9 months ago for the Jibun Techo, and I was very intrigued by it. I was really intrigued by the layout. There was a lot of things in it that kind of had me questioning whether it would work for me. And I ended up doing my own YouTube searching, and I think I'm really going to like it better for archival purposes instead of the Hobonichi Weeks. So I have no issues with the actual planner of the weeks itself. My biggest problem that I was going to come to were going to be my note pages. I chose not to get the Mega again this year. I chose to just get the standard weeks, which has 71 note pages. And I was basically going to make a bunch of trackers that looked pretty similar to this. My original plan was to use my 100 for all of the books that I had read. And then I also wanted a tracker for my cleaning tasks, my big purchases. And I just had a lot of ideas of things that I wanted to put into my note pages for tracking and archiving. But y'all, I just don't really feel like doodling and creating trackers this year. I really don't have it in me right now. And so I found this planner and I did a bunch of YouTubes, like I said, and I did a couple of flip throughs on YouTube, and I just looked at a bunch of pictures online on Instagram, and it has all of those built-in trackers at the beginning. So I'm just going to kind of show you the insides of this, and I'm going to give you the ideas that I've got on how I'm going to be using this planner for this year. So again, this is the Jibun Techo. It is the mini, which is a B6 Slim. It is the Biz version, meaning that it's got very little color on the inside. The original Jibun Techo is very, very colorful. It's got bright greens, bright reds, and I knew that I didn't like that. But once I found out that this one existed, the more neutral of the two, I kind of jumped on it basically. I got this from JetPens. So it has a little paper here saying that it is a log your life diary. It has all of these built-in trackers already, which again is the reason that I chose to go with this one. And so I'll just do a real quick kind of walk through, just give you my ideas. So there were two types available on JetPens. There was this one, which was $34, and then there was another one, which was solid black, which was $43. So it was about a $10 difference. The insides and guts were completely the same. The biggest difference were the cover and the binding. So this binding has kind of like a fibrous book binding tape on it, and it's a non-covered binding. I personally did not think that the binding, in my opinion, was worth $10. I possibly made a grave mistake, and I will regret it later when I get like 8 months into the planner. If the binding breaks, I don't know, but we're just gonna have to find that out. So it is extremely comparable in size to the Hobonichi Weeks. It is essentially the same height. So the biggest difference that you're gonna see is the paper is the same size and height, but the Hobonichi Weeks has like a little bit of a lip on it for the actual cover itself. But as far as the pages go, the pages themselves are the exact same size, but the cover adds a little bit of additional height to it. Width obviously is an additional difference. Your B6 Slim is a little bit wider than your Hobonichi Weeks. One of the biggest reasons I fell in love with the Weeks was not just because I really enjoyed the way I was using it, but I loved that it was small, compact, and portable. And so the fact that I was excited about the B6 Slim option kind of made me even more excited about this purchase here. They also have an A5, I think, Slim version as well. As far as covers go, this cover here is a cardstock type of cover, and you have your internal book binding. This is a little bit more of a thicker type paper, not as hard as or thick as your cardstock. So when you first go into the planner, you've got your year. This is a Japanese planner, so a lot of it I'm not going to be able to understand. I did already write my name in it. So I had one friend that said that they had this planner, they loved the planner, the size worked for them, the layout worked for them, but they did not really like that they felt it wasn't fountain pen friendly. And so I'm not sure if it was the ink that they were using, but they said that their ink would feather on the paper. I don't feel like I had that issue. So this paper is not a Tomoe River paper. It is a unique paper for Kokio. I believe I'm saying that right, the brand that makes it, Kokio. And it's called Mio paper. And I actually did a little bit of research into the Mio paper, and it is still thin like the Tomoe River paper. And so you still have that really compact, slim, your entire year's worth type paper. But it is a pH neutral and archival type of paper, meaning that it won't yellow over time. And I instantly got excited about that because I'm using this as an archivable planner. So when you flip the page here, you have a bunch of information on how to use the planner. Most of it I can't read, but it also tells you all of the trackers that are built into it, and I'll show you what those look like as well. This is kind of a mock-up layout of, how to use the planner. It is a 24-hour format for an hourly. You do have a space at the bottom. You have your moods, you have sunset, sunrise, and then a star, which I'm guessing maybe is like your favorite part of the day. And it is also a Monday start weekly planner, and it is a vertical hourly layout. And then you go into your years at a glance. I personally have never used these pages in any of the planners that I've ever had in 10 plus years. So for me, these are completely wasted pages, and I might actually consider using something else to kind of cover them up. But you have a 2022, which is pretty large. And then I'm not sure why they included 2021. I'm not sure why you would need last year's at a glance, but you also have 2023 in here as well. And then this is a very similar page that you have in the Hobonichi Weeks. And a lot of people in the Weeks use this for some sort of habit tracking, whether you want to focus on one goal for the year and you can track your steps or track your body weight or track your active minutes, your workouts, stuff like that. These spaces, obviously, because the planner is larger, is a little bit larger. I'm not sure. I don't think it's actually intended for tracking, because I'll show you that there's an actual habit tracker in here. But I'm guessing that it's used mainly for like a perpetual calendar. So you can go through and write down all of your birthdays, all of your anniversaries, your recurring appointments, you know, anything outstanding that you have, so you can have a quick glance at if you need to schedule something, you can know exactly where it is. So you've got that, and that's the entire calendar year of 2022. And then you go into an age chart. Again, not useful for me. And then you have something called My Dream 2022. I'm not 100% sure how I personally will be using this page yet. I think that I might put some big goals that I am trying to work on and complete, but I'm not going to use this as a goal planner because I have my MakseLife goal setting system. But because this is going to be an archivable planner, I might actually wait until the very end of the year and come back in here and change this header to goals accomplished. And so I can have all of that in one space and just write down everything that I did do throughout the year. And so this page might be something that I fill out like in December of 2022. I really like the idea of this page. So this is a year glance money plan. You have all of your months here at the top. You have January all the way through the December, and then you have a little bonus column here. And again, I'm not sure what any of these symbols mean, so I'm not sure what the side is intended to be used for. There are enough spaces here where you can on the side write 1 through 31 or 28 or whatever the months are, and you can write down all of your bills that you've got due, any money that you know is incoming. You can mark your paydays, and you can use this as a budget system. And I actually really like that because I am going to be focusing very heavily on finances in 2022. And so I like that you have a year's glance for your finances in one spot. A Japan map, again, for me, not very useful. So I might actually download some printable, type of things and put those in here so I can utilize these pages in different ways. This is a blank version. It is an undated version of your weekly plan. I believe this is something that you can use to mock up your ideal week, or you can use it even as a kind of trial week for how you want this planner to look. And so I'll go into the layout in a second, but you basically have your already boxed kind of weekly tasks over here. Again, it's a Monday start. You have separate vertical columns for each day on the weekend, and it is a 24-hour format. So you essentially start at midnight and go all the way down to 11 p.m. Wait, is that right? 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so no, you start, midnight is down here. Okay, and then you come into all of your trackers, which is, I'm so excited for. Okay, so 100 wishes. How I plan on using these pages is essentially a really expensive, we need to save for and budget for running list, like replacing our carpet and getting a new couch, or, my husband might need new hiking boots, which are, several $100s for the brand that he uses because he wears them essentially to the ground. Pun is intended. And so I am going to be using this for a running list of things that we need to purchase or we need to do on our home, and then I'm just going to check them off when they are complete. There is actually more spots than 100 on here. And so you essentially get 2 grid lines per checkbox. And then when you come over here, you can see that there are 100 here, but there are additional spaces here. So if you go over 100, then you can have additional space. So that's how I'm going to be using these pages. This is a relatively blank layout for favorite phrases or favorite quotes, which I actually really like because a lot of times in my daily planner, I will write inspirational quotes, or the majority of the stuff that I write in my planner is actually from stuff that Sierra has said, who owns MakseLife, because she does a lot of goal setting and life coaching. And so I'll write down a lot of stuff that she says. And so I'll use this kind of as a one place to look at all of that, because it's really challenging for me to go through my daily planner every single page and say, oh shoot, Sierra said this, and I want to make sure that I remember this, and oh, I need a little bit of inspiration today, and to just flip through all those daily pages. So I like the idea of having this space here. And then you have a recommendations list. And so I think how I will be using this page is if somebody recommends a restaurant for me to go to, or a local kind of event for the kids, or a store, or a book, anything like that. Because again, I write a lot of those things in my daily pages in my MakseLife as well. And it's really hard for me to just flip through, possibly weeks worth of daily pages to find that one little note that Susie told me to go to this petting zoo for the kids or whatever. And so again, having everything in one space is going to be really nice. And then one of the biggest reasons I purchased the planner is because of the book list. So again, I said that I was going to use in this, I was going to use the My 100, which I don't remember where it went now, for my books that I was going to be reading. I was going to use these pages in my weeks. In my weeks that I have for this year, I actually created a layout in the notes pages that I essentially just listed all of the books with the authors that I had read, and I checked them off every time I read them. I like this because it actually has like built-in smiley faces. And so you can mark if you liked the book, if it was kind of meh, or if you really couldn't stand the book. And that's one of those things that I never really even considered when I was writing my book list. I was just kind of trying to reach a book goal, and I was just reading as much as I could, and I didn't really react too much or discuss the book with somebody else. I was like, oh, I read it, I'm gonna check it off, because I just really wanted to reach an end goal essentially. But I like this because it's gonna be a little bit more intentional, and it'll help me remember whether I actually enjoyed the book or not. And then you're gonna come into a movie list, which I actually also considered creating a tracker page in the back of my Hobonichi Weeks. And I honestly considered that like literally last week, because I am finally starting to watch TV again. It's been a very long time since I've watched TV. We don't have cable, so we utilize Netflix a lot. And I've been watching shows and movies on Netflix only to get 20 minutes into it and realize, oh shoot, I've seen this before, because it's been that long since I've watched TV. And so I'm going to be tracking the movies and the shows that I watch as well. So that way, if I did have additional time to watch something, I would be able to refer to this and make sure I haven't watched it before. And then I love, love, love the idea of this. This is one of the things I never really considered tracking, but this is gifts received and gifts given. I send out randomly a lot of Happy Mail. I'll order things from websites and just send them to people for absolutely no apparent reason. And I like the idea of having somewhere to track all of that. And then I also like the idea of tracking gifts received, because I can use a column over here to say, hey, did you thank that person? Even if it's just a quick text or, you know, official thank you note in the mail. So I really like these pages. And then you have a promise list. Not gonna lie, no clue how to use this page. I don't know what I will do with this page. Again, it has the pre-marked check boxes on it. It's, you know, has this separation right here. And so I could definitely get really creative with it, but I just, as of right now, I have no idea. If you have an idea, or if you use this particular planner and you are utilizing this page, please comment down below and tell me what you're using it for, because I would love to be able to track something else. And then you have a completely blank layout. It does have a spot for you to write your own header. You still have that grid spacing, so you can draw in your own layout if you wanted to, or you can even leave it completely blank. So this is extremely exciting for me. So this is the habit tracking area. So it starts in December of 2021, and then you come into January of 2022. Each month is gonna look like this, where you've got your year over here, and then your month, and then you can write whatever habit you're starting to track here, and then you can shade in or check off those boxes as you go throughout the entire year. And so you have plenty of space. You can potentially track 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25 things, which is a lot of things to track. And so I personally am going to be tracking I'm going to have a goal step count for a daily goal step count, and I'm going to track that. I'm going to track if I'm flossing twice a day. Am I getting my activity minutes in regardless of my step count? Am I eating 3 to 5 vegetables a day? I've never really been one to track water, because I naturally just drink a lot of water, but I'm going to have to get really creative if I want to find 25 things to track. Honestly, I'm not really going to be able to track 25 things. But I do think that this would be nice, even if you had something that would only happen even once a week, you know, like dusting or, you know, other household chores. You can easily write that in and have a quick glance of, being able to track those items that even happen on a weekly basis. You have the basically 2 months per 2-page layout, and you go through the entire year, and it actually goes all the way out to January of 2023, which is super interesting because you don't have room to plan the entire month of January 2023 in this planner. So, and then you go into your monthly layout. So my monthly layout for me personally is my most widely utilized layout. It is like my landing page of, this is where I go before I schedule anything. And even if I'm out and about and I schedule something even for later that week or next week, I write it in my monthly layout first. This layout is really cool because it actually includes all of these little faces, so you can track your mood with each day as well. And those are also included on the weekly layout, and so you can transfer those from your weekly layout. So it is a Monday start, and you also have all of these check boxes down along the side. And then when you come down along the side, you also have check boxes down along the bottom as well. The thing I don't really particularly care for a ton in this layout is these calendars down at the bottom. I am very anti-calendars on my pages. I don't understand why you would need the month prior. This is the current month, and then you have the next month. I can kind of understand, like, if you have a business or you travel a lot, you might need that next month, but I don't understand the month prior. I don't get it. Maybe it's just they wanted to fill the boxes because they had, I don't know. I got nothing. But for me personally, I never utilize these calendars, and they're on the weekly pages too, which kind of bums me out a little bit, but not enough to where I wouldn't utilize the planner. So I also wanted to note that Saturday and Sunday throughout the entire planner are going to be very, very, very lightly shaded. It is a light blue and a light red, so you can see the weekend quickly. All of your months are going to be at the front, which I actually prefer. I prefer all of my months at the front, and I prefer a Monday start on my monthly as well. Because a lot of times when I plan my next week, I plan weekly. I don't plan my whole month in my weekly pages at once. And so a lot of times when I have a Sunday start, I'll actually mess up when I transfer everything to my weekly layout. So I prefer a Monday start on my monthly calendars. And the reason I like all of my months at the front is because I like being able to have everything at the front. So if I do need to schedule an appointment, and again, because I use my monthly view the most, I don't have to go all the way to the middle of the planner and flip pages to try and find that particular month. I've got them all in the front and I know exactly where to go. And so you have all 12 months. All right, so all your months are here. And then it actually goes all the way to March of 2023 in case you need to plan for those future months, like a dentist appointment or a kid's school schedule or something. And then right after the months, you go straight into your weekly layout. So again, you have a Monday start on your weekly layout. Again, you've got these calendars that I can't stand, but it's pretty minor compared to how much I love the rest of this planner. So you have a spot at the top for weather. You also have a 0 to 6 a.m. If you're never going to utilize that for time blocking, you can easily utilize that for a daily checklist. And then you start getting your half-hour spacing at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. So it goes all the way down to, this is 4 p.m. and you still have your half-hour spacing all the way throughout your entire rest of your calendar day until midnight. Also on the bottom, you will find the mood tracking, sunrise and sunset. And then you have a little star down here. You can probably use it for whatever you want, but I'm guessing it's like a gratitude or your favorite part of the day type of thing. You also get a ton of pre-filled out squares for a checkbox weekly task to-do list type thing as well. Before I bought the planner, I actually did a lot of like Instagramming and YouTubing. I actually didn't find a lot of YouTube videos out there with this particular planner, but there were several Instagram images. And I've seen a lot of people do down here their meal plan, you know, everything that they've eaten Some people do track sunrise and sunset. Personally, that's nothing that I've tracked in the past. I usually do track weather because we are in Kansas, and so we're kind of like Tornado Alley. And so I do like to kind of refer back to weather, and especially since this is going to be an archivable planner, I would love to be able to refer back to like when was our first snow of the year, stuff like that. And so your 0 to 6 a.m., you could definitely use it for time blocking, but you could also use it for daily specific tasks. And then again, this whole space goes down to midnight. And so if you wanted to use it for full time blocking, you could use it and just write when you go to bed and when you start sleeping and stuff like that. Or you can use these empty spaces down here again for daily specific tasks. And then you also have these separate vertical hourly columns for Saturday and Sunday. So your entire weekly is the exact same. And so, oh, you know what I just noticed? So this one here, because this week is a split of 2 different months, you get 2 different calendars up here and you get 2 different tabs. When you just have your week is only 1 month, you only have 1 calendar and 1 tab, which makes sense. And the calendars also have the highlighted week that you're in as well. Oh, look, it also has the week number. I just noticed that too, week 50. And so if you do tracking by week number, that's available to you as well. Yep, this is 48. Yeah, so that's really cool. Okay, so your entire weekly is the exact same throughout the entire planner. And then I'll go back to the very back. So you actually get the planner, most planners usually end as soon as it hits January. But you get actually 1 extra week of planning in your weekly layout in this particular planner. You get the 2nd week of January as well. And then you go into a completely blank grid pages. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I count that right? Oh gosh, I can't stand counting note pages. I get so confused with it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blank grid pages. And so you can write any kinds of notes you need back here. You can write additional trackers and stuff like that. And then this, I think, was a really cool addition to a planner. I haven't had, with the exception of my MakseLife goal setting system, I haven't had any of my planners kind of give me like a looking back or a reflections or happy moments or memories or anything like that. So I really like the idea of this. And again, because it is going to be an archivable planner for me, I like the idea of having, you know, each month set out. There's 12 months on this side and 12 months over here. And so I guess you could use one for, you know, big milestones that happened, especially if you have kids, like if they lost their first tooth during that month, stuff like that. And then you have a whole nother section over here with the exact same month. So maybe you can do like, I don't know, like your biggest lesson learned, or even, you know, honestly, like a good thing that happened and a bad thing that happened. Because personally, when I reflect on things, I also consider all of those negative things that happened, because that's how I'm going to learn and that's how I'm going to grow and change and be a better person. And so I like that idea. I actually just thought of that. So I might be doing here like the best moment and the most challenging moment. So I might be doing that back here. And then again, 2 pages I won't utilize is personal data with, you know, addresses, emails, and stuff like that. I have no idea what all of this is, but I think that this is contacts because it says TEL, which I'm guessing maybe is telephone number. I'm not sure. But I won't be utilizing those pages either. And then this is the very end of the planner itself. And that's it. So that is the Jibun Techo Biz Mini, which is the B6 Slim. And I, you know, personally, I'm really excited about it. I was actually going to be using the Passion Planner small A5 size because I really like time blocking and I like being able to look back and see what I was doing with my time. So a lot of times I'll actually time block everything that I've got scheduled, and then throughout the day, as I'm doing things, I'll come in and I'll write like outside with the kids or social media because I'm scrolling mindlessly and I have nothing to do. In the evening, I'll track what nights I read, how long I read, if I watch TV, you know, alone or with my husband or anything like that. And so I really like an hourly timeline. I think personally for me, it works really well. And so I'm really excited about this because it is smaller, it is more portable, and it is going to be taking up less space on my shelf as well. I feel a little sad that I'm not going to be using my Hobonichi Weeks for archiving. I was up in the air with using the Passion Planner for archiving versus my Hobonichi Weeks for archiving, but in the end, I decided that I really want an hourly timeline so I can look back throughout the year and see where I had wasted time and where I had productive time. Because if I track how long I'm scrolling on Instagram and I notice, wow, that was an hour a day, what else could I use that hour for? And so I'm gonna try and be a little more intentional with logging and tracking. And so that's the reason I went with the hourly. I do really, really, really love my Hobonichi Weeks. I might actually keep this planner and utilize it as a work planner because it's narrow enough that it can actually fit in my scrub pockets. And I'm going to be doing a lot of staff training. And so I'm going to be having a lot of meetings, and I'm going to be, you know, in charge of certain people and the things that they're learning for that week as well. So I'm probably going to be using this as a work planner. Probably won't be showing it on social media anymore because it will be a work planner. But I'm definitely not going to get rid of it. The Hobonichi Weeks, I feel like, has a really special spot in my heart. I'm just not going to be able to, I'm just not going to be using it for my archival purposes for 2022. So I'm interested in what you guys think. I'm also interested in if you guys even use a planner to archive, or if you only use one planner and your whole life is in it. I think that's amazing. I actually did that several years ago, and I just kept those planners on the shelf. And so I'd be interested in knowing too if you are doing something like that, or if you're using a completely separate planner to archive independently. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite part of the planner was, and if there's anything that you didn't like about the planner. And also give me some ideas on, what was it, the promise list? Where did it go? Give me some ideas on how to use the, 100 wishes. Nope, that wasn't it. That was my book list, vivi list. Where was it? It was promise list, right? Yeah, here. Give me some ideas on what to use this for. I would love to be able to have ideas on what to use a promise list for. So thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I will probably do a completely separate video when I do set up everything and I start working in it on my first week and my first month. I'll do a separate video, and then I might do a pen test video. I'm not 100% sure. I think a pen test video for me personally is going to be really challenging. I have a lot of pens. I just purged a ton, like literally hundreds of my pens, because I'm just not using traditional pens anymore. I'm actually using fountain pens now, and I have 2. And I have a bunch of different types of inks, but I'm not going to be able to do that type of pen test in this because it is a little bit of a process to put an ink in a fountain pen and then flush it, clean it, drain it, and refill it with a different ink, and then wait for it to, you know, prime in the nib. And then, so I'm not going to be able to do that type of pen test, but I can definitely do a different pen test. So if you have any pens that you use on a regular basis and you're curious if they work well on this Mio paper, drop them down below. And if I have them, I will absolutely add them to my pen test list on this paper, because this paper is very new to me. I did use my fountain pen on my name at the very front, and I didn't really have any issues. It actually seemed to dry very quickly, honestly, faster than the Tomo River paper, and I didn't see any feathering either. And so I will keep you updated on both of those. So if you're interested in those 2 videos coming up, my setup and a pen test, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And thank you again very much for hanging out with me and watching this video. I hope you'd enjoyed it, and ask me any questions if you have any. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.